I'm Anil Kumar, and here is a test for you on relations and functions. The question is, are the following relations functions? Explain. So I'll write down different examples here, and these are all relations. You have to say whether they are functions or not, right? So let me give you a few equations. Y equals to x, then I have y equals to x square. See, y square equals to x d, y equals to 5, and e x equals to 4, right? Now let us consider these equations. There are 5 equations. Now you need to explain if these relations do represent functions or not, and if they do not represent function, then why not? Okay, so think about it. We'll discuss them in details soon. Let me give you some more examples. Let us say this time I'll give you a mapping diagram, right? So I have a mapping diagram here. You have to say whether this relation represents a function or not. Okay, so what I will do is I need to draw some arrows, so I'm drawing arrows like this. That is F, not G. I'll give you a graph and you need to figure out if it represents a function or not. So this graph is of a curve like this. H. Another graph, let me say this time it is kind of like this, right? So you have to say whether this is a function or not. Remember, these are all relation, right? I. Now let's have some scatter plots. Okay, so let me draw some, let us say, make it a graph. So then be easy for you to figure out whether these points represent a function or not, right? So let me make 2 of them here. Okay. So I hope you have written down the answers or solutions for these questions. I'm giving you time while sketching to think about their solution. Now here, scatter plot, let me say this is 1 point, this is the other one, third one, fourth. This is one scatter plot. You have to say whether this is a function or not. And this time I have these points lined up kind of like this. Okay. Is it a function or not? So we have x-axis and y-axis. So x-y-axis is default, right? So horizontal axis is always x-axis for us, if not mentioned, and the vertical axis is y. So we are trying to say whether y is a function of x or not, right? This is what you need to say. Now let's begin from the very first. This is J for us. Okay, I'll add one more diagram here. Okay, I'll put that as a thinking question. Fine. Now this one, y equals to x is a straight line, so I will write f for function, right? So I know all of you must have got it right. F for function, this is a straight line, and this is indeed a function, right? So this graph will look like this. Y equals to x squared is a graph kind of like this, and you know this is also a function, right? So this is a function. So f for me is function. Okay, and if I write nf, it will be not a function. Okay, y square equals to x. Now whether this is a function or not. Y square equals to x. So what is y? In this case, y will be square root of x. Whenever you square root, you have to write plus and minus. And therefore, this graph will be kind of graph shown here. So if you draw this, then for each value of x, you have two values of y, except 0. For 0, it is 0. So that is the graph of y square equals to x, which means y is plus or minus x. You get the point, right? If I write x as 4, then y could be minus 2 or plus 2, right? So those are the two values. So it is not a function. So this one is not a function, right? So this one is not a function. So NF means not function. Okay. Y equals to 5. Y equals to 5 will be a horizontal line, right? So y equals to 5 will be a horizontal line. Each value of x has a unique value, so this one is a function. However, x equals to 4 will be a vertical line, right? So that is not going to be a function. So this is not a function, x equals to 4. Now let's move on to the mapping diagrams. Here what you see is that each element of set A. Now set A, you have to see the arrow. It goes in the reverse direction. So this becomes our input, right? That is the output. This is independent variable. That is the dependent variable. Now this one is associated 1. That's fine. But here we have association with more than 1. So it is not a function. It is a relation, but not a function. So let me write this as not a function. And because of this, it is not a function, right? Here for each value of x, we have one unique value, so it is a function. But here again, it fails vertical line test. Therefore, this one is not a function, correct? In this case, it fails this vertical line test, and so it is not a function. Here, it is a function. You get the point, right? So it is a function. Now, we have answered all this. Question for you is, you need to sketch a relation, with domain of x belongs to real numbers and range of y belongs to real numbers, right? Give an example of a function and not a function. So I would like you to sketch two different graphs. One where the relation has domain and range as all real numbers, but one is a function, the other one is not a function. So that is a question for you. You can pause the video, try to sketch. One of the solutions could be, let me give you one of the solutions. It is not an easy question, right? So one could be, let's make a hole. This value is not included, kind of like this. And if this is included, kind of like this. So these are two lines, and here they are not overlapping. So that becomes a function, right? But on the other side, if I include this point in both the lines, then what you see here, that at x equals to 0, we have two different values. So domain and range is all real numbers. However, this one is not a function, since it fails the vertical line test at x equals to 0. Do you get the idea? So that is how you could answer this test problem. This is a thinking test problem, which is indeed not easy, correct? So go through it once again. I hope that will help you to get good marks in your test. I'm Anil Kumar. You can subscribe to my videos and learn a lot. Thank you and all the best.